Yo, how's it going, my friends? It has been a while since my last video, but I'm back and I have come with some more Summoner Duels content. There's actually been a lot of seasons since my last video and a lot of rank 1 SDS and SDR runs I would have loved to have uploaded, but unfortunately those replay codes have long since expired and the meta shifted a lot since then. But I hope to rectify that failure by, well, giving you guys a lot of content now. I got a huge stream of videos planned for you guys, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Anyways, I'm not going to waste any of your guys' time. Let's just jump straight into the video. For this Summoner Duels season, the map is Central Garden, and the captain skills are Effulgence, Flash of Steel, and Impregnable. Before, I was honestly not a huge fan of Effulgence, and I still don't think it's that great. But it's the only captain skill in this rotation that provides in-combat speed, which can be very essential for units trying to meet certain doubling thresholds. The built-in penalty neutralization also helps with this. Flash of Steel is a very strong captain skill, giving your captain desperation and them and the nearby teammates the tempo effect during combat. This captain skill is a very nice mixture of boosting your team's offensive capabilities while having a bit of defensive utility through tempo. Finally, Impregnable. This is a captain skill that honestly has had a huge glow up this past year. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was released at the beginning of this year, and I was really low on it on its debut. I thought it was a pretty pointless captain skill, as I firmly believe that a Farsave should almost never really be the captain of a team, as they are the ones that will ultimately die first. But the meta has changed a lot since then, and we're living in an era of frontliners. And the insane amount of bulk and utility that modern frontliners have these days just completely eclipses what we saw a year ago. And I think the best frontliners were probably like regular Asker and Ascended Tiki back then. But with the advent of Lagu's Friend, Bulwark being thrown everywhere, and Breath of Life 4 extending a unit's survivability, Impregnable near-save captains are genuinely terrifying to face. Yeah, Impregnable is honestly an incredible captain skill now, and that was not something I'd really expected myself to say when it first came back in January. So that's a brief recap of this season's map and captain skills. And now it was time for me to build 4 teams. For this season in particular, I really wanted to experiment with Timerra and Fogado, 2 of my favorite characters from Fire Emblem Engage, as A, I love the Queendom of Solm, and B, I just love these siblings' personalities. So I wanted to make the strongest teams I could, featuring the 2 Sentinels. Starting off is my Timerra team. As I said earlier, Impregnable got a huge glow up with how strong frontliners are in the current meta, and Timerra is definitely up there for one of the best. Her Sandstorm special does an absurd amount of damage when it triggers, and I wanted to maximize how much damage I could do with that. So I slapped on the Celica Ring, which you may or may not have forgotten does boost special damage by 4 times the maximum cooldown of the special, giving Sandstorm an additional 12 damage. And of course, you know, the insane 4-space warping that the ring provides, just a little cherry on top. Next up is Legendary Male Robin, and this unit is where my Timerra team starts to go off the rails and enter really degenerate territory. Unity stacking is still pretty good in Summoner Duels, and Grand Strategy helps Timerra boost her speed and defense even further. He's also a source of canto control on this team, which is always helpful. Legendary Male Shez is a unit whom I'm so glad I pulled for because I was really mixed on this guy when he first came out. I didn't really think his gimmick was all that special until I saw him in action. And this was his debut season, so I was kinda going in blind with him. But my goodness, can I say, Legendary Male Shez did not disappoint, and he is a fantastic unit. Barring his really good nuking potential and insane mobility, Shez also provides some good stat support through Dual Sword's Crux effect, which amplifies as the battle goes on. The combination of Legendary Male Shez and Male Robin is a brutal one, and is a recipe for disastrous stat swings for the enemy team. And all of this would just make it that much harder for my opponent to take down Timerra. But if you thought that was all, well my friends, allow me to teach you one of the most underlooked yet extremely powerful mechanics of legendary heroes in Summoner Duels. See that little icon right there? Yeah, whenever it's the current season or the correct season for a legendary hero, they are able to provide their corresponding ally boost effect to every member of the team. In our case, Robin and Shez both provide 3 HP and 4 defense to the entire team. And since it is Earth and Wind season for this SDS, yes indeed, Timerra is getting a whopping 6 HP and 8 extra visible defense to her stat total, further increasing her bulk and Sandstorm damage. This trio of behemoths just works so well together when the seasons match up. Their synergy through immense stat swings, bulk, and damage is just the perfect symphony of team building that I love and look for. These three working together is just music to my ears. Oh yeah, there's still 2 more units on this team. Valentine's Mir is the dedicated sponge tank for all ranged attacks. Defense Res Unity combined with Grand Strategy, and let me remind you, the extra 6 HP and 8 defense from Robin and Shez make her really tough to kill. And I didn't even mention that shield fighter shaped elephant in the room. Yeah, far safe Mir and near safe Timerra are just not gonna die. At least, not without a fight. Finally, Attuned Peony rounds off the team with mobility support through Guidance 4, Canto and the Orders buff, and Action Economy through Tender Dream. So, now I have a very solid looking team featuring Timerra, and now it's time to make a team starring her brother, Fogado. Honestly, I was kinda at a loss for how I should build him. I initially wanted to see if I could make Fogado into a far-safe captain through Impregnable. This is honestly a legitimate role for him, as he denies all specials, including AoEs from ranged units. But without Curve Shot, I was not entirely confident in his tanking capabilities, so instead I opted to just run him as a flex nuking option. As for the rest of the team, I really kind of went all out with Fogado's teammates. I don't think I need to really explain why these 4 units are broken. You look at this team, and it's straight up the 4 best units in the game, plus Fogado. Haythrun as the near-safe captain with Lagu's Friend allows me to comfortably live any melee nukes that come my way. And the Hardy Bearing Seal is a very nice countermeasure against Flash of Steel, should the enemy have it. Micaiah is broken, Robin is broken, and Fjorm with Divine Nectar is broken. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like this team is not so much showcasing Fogado's strength, but more so demonstrating how absurd these 4 units are in tandem. But hey, it's a team with Fogado, so it's gotta count for something, right? As for my remaining 2 teams, I've gone with compositions that I would say I'm pretty comfortable with. These are the bread and butter and go-to teams of my barracks for Summoner Duels. Starting off is my legendary Alir team. He has served me immensely well as a frontliner ever since his debut, helping me achieve a myriad of rank 1 runs in both SDS and SDR. So, of course, since it is Earth season, he's going to be my frontliner of choice for the 3rd team. Supporting him are Nurgle and Brave Female Robin. Now, in the SDS event that happened before this season, I actually had an incredible run with this trio of units. The combination of Bulwark and Robin's Divine Vein Ice is deadly and can really hamper your opponent's mobility and bail you out of tough spots. I really wish the replay codes from that season didn't expire so soon, because man, did I have an incredible showing of that team, beating, well, several gatekeepers with the core of Alir, Nurgle, and Robin. But you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Actually, no you don't, because spoilers, I will be using this team quite a lot in this video. To round off the team, Sedith and Mirabilis offer extremely good stat support, which increases everyone's damage and tanking profile. And since they're flyers, Soaring Guidance, Soaring Echo, and Rhine Snap let the entire team be very mobile and get across the central forests with ease. For my final team, yeah, it's pretty toxic. Brave Felix is the new kid on the block that everyone loves to hate, and when I first saw his self-refreshed gimmick in the CYL Fade channel, I immediately knew that this unit was gonna cause some problems. So to build a team around him, I wanted to cover for Felix's weaknesses so that, well, he would have none when I enter battle. Harmonic Egren patches up Felix's NFU issue through her C skill, Infantry Null Follow-Up, Also, her bypass terrain support is pretty handy on this map to get across the central forests. Nidavellir covers up not really a weakness per se, but a small optimization that Felix can have, which is pre-charging his Gust special. Since Nidavellir provides special cooldown count -1 to the entire team, he would not only be helping out Felix get his Gust up and running, but also Ygrenne's Blazing Wind special. Not only that, but the special cooldown support from Nidavellir also helps the far safer this team, Ascendant Amelia. The combination of the Quick Impulse Seal, Nidavellir support, and the tempo effect from Flash of Seal pretty much guarantee that Amelia will get her Armored Beacon triggered, which is paramount for her survival. Finally, the Boogie Woman of SD, Duo Thor. If the team didn't already seem strong enough, Duo Thor lets me debilitate the entire enemy team on turn 1 with her Duo button, allowing Felix, Ygrenne, and Nidavellir to set up, go in, and wreak havoc without consequence. So, with all 4 of my teams prepared, it was about time that we entered the gauntlet. Rank 1, here we come.
We're moving!
Alright, let's get this party started. Something I forgot to mention is that for Summoner Duels, I like to play with an alias so that the people I face don't actually know it's me that they're fighting. I think it just helps improve the integrity of the game mode, and for this season I've named myself Zhongli, one of my favorite Genshin Impact characters. Both me and my opponent use Robin's Divine Vein Ice to stop any approaches from either side, and it's kind of funny how we have an ice standoff going on here. To end off my first turn, I noticed that my opponent doesn't really have good range, as Ecthrnir cannot move through the trees. So I decide to end off my first action by moving Alir to frontline so that he can block Robin for turn 2. Robin repositions Ecthrnir to safety and sets up the Divine Vein Ice, but I can push forward and have Robin swap with Alir to not only threaten space, but also override the enemy's ice with my own.
Please wake up!
For my second match, I banned my opponent's 2 teams that don't focus heavily on Cavaliers, as they're not really strong on this map, especially without Dogger or Pathfinder. But that didn't really matter as my opponent decides to immediately end all of their units' actions. So I respect this draw request and take my units out of the zone.
Please wake up!
And you might be wondering, Patrick, why the hell are you even showing this match? And well, even if forced draws like these are a little boring, I like making my Summoner Duels videos as transparent as possible. And also, I want to give more exposure to this kind of etiquette, as not a lot of people respect the art of draw requests in Summoner Duels. Too many times have I seen someone continue playing even when their opponent immediately ended action, and I don't want to win that way. Alright, now this is more like it. Finally, a worthy opponent. And they're also using Timerra and Fogado, so you already know this person has good taste in characters. But they didn't ban my Alir team, so I'm sorry, it's time for me to win. But they have a pretty strong opener by using Shadow Shift Nidavellir to get Embla in place, but I can use Robin's Divine Vein Ice to stop their approach and set up my own unit safely. Here, I notice that the ice is protecting my units from melee attacks, and my opponent has no more range units active to threaten space over the ice. So, I decide to modify my opener by taking an aggressive position and push Sedif up to the front lines. This allows me to set up Soaring Echo to let Alir cross over the trees and take out Embla, their captain, for free. In this position, you might be wondering why my opponent's Nithaflir doesn't just kill my Sedith. And well, that's because they literally cannot reach me. Yep, that is the power of Bulwark. My opponent tries to pull a fast one on me by smiting Nithaflir up, but that doesn't matter because he still cannot reach me. Bulwark is just that good.
Let us sing.
Oh yeah, now that's the cavalry effectiveness of Sedith's Spear of Acid Refine coming into play. I don't think it mattered to kill Azura, but hey, watch this.
I'll protect the Exalt.
Boom! Now that's what I'm talking about. Finally, Sedith's Spear of Acid Refine has given him justice. Justice for the best Three Houses character.
Please wake up.
Finally, I get to use my Timerra team. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's just see how strong this team truly is.
Want to play?
Because of the built-in aerial maneuvers mobility in Shez's weapon, try saying that 5 times fast, he's able to zoom across the trees and take out Byleth for free. And because my opponent only has range units, which is not very good in the current meta, he can stay safely in Myr's far save range.
Sweetest dreams.
Now that my opponent's Far Savior is gone, they literally cannot do anything, and this has just become a shooting gallery for Shez. I don't know why, but I Kanto Shez up rather than keeping him in Myr's far save range, but I mean it doesn't matter, I am up 10 points. But I think internally I had some wishful thinking that Shez could survive Veil here. But yeah, no amount of Unity stacking is gonna let that happen.
Stay alive, Bernie.
Defeat is not an option.
Well, my opponent knows what's up, and they banned my Aleer and Timerra teams, but I still got an ace up my sleeve. Fogado, it's your time to shine.
We go together.
Azura refreshes Erika's action, and I do have to be a bit careful because she does have +1 movement. Byleth repositions Erika down, and I have to move Fogado up just so he doesn't get killed. But now that it's turn 2, Haythorn has become the near save captain, and all is fine.
Freeze and shatter.
I decide to use Fjorm's duo button, not because I need the ice, but just to stall out my opponent's actions. I am not going to be able to take down that Erika. She's just too strong right now. But if I can somehow get to her allies... And boom, just like that, we're able to find an opening and have Micaiah take down Byleth, putting us in the point lead. Not only that, but Micaiah, as you just saw, is protected by near-safe Hathorn. So that kill on Byleth was completely safe and free. Now, this, my friends, is why Bulwark on a frontliner is so important. If only Erika had Bulwark, then Micaiah would not have been able to sneak past and flank to kill Byleth. Something I really like about my Timerra team is how unassuming it is in terms of power and mobility. Ordinarily, 3 infantry units plus 1 armor unit is not really going to move across the map all that well. But thanks to the combination of Timerra's Celica Ring and Shez's built-in aerial maneuvers, plus the orders buff from Peony's Dance, my units are able to move across the map pretty well and threaten space, pushing my opponent back because they just cannot kill any of my units. Yeah, it's a pretty strong combination.
A beautiful night. Let's have some fun!
Boom! Now that's some Sandstorm damage right there. Once again, we're able to use my Timerra team, and on my opponent's side, they have a pretty solid and bulky composition themselves. Lots of debuffs from Micaiah, support from Sedith, a strong near-safe in Gatri, and healing from Ymir. But unfortunately, as strong as their team looks on paper, infantry units like Ymir and Asker are just not bulky enough to be far-safe decoys in a post-shield fighter world, where nukes like, well, legendary male Shez can dish out lots of damage. Pour one out for this unlucky soul who had the misfortune to face me in the Summoner Duels queue. Well, not only did they face me, but they also left my Felix team open, probably the most toxic team I've ever created in the history of Summoner Duels. Yeah, this is an explicit content warning. What you're about to witness is a bloodbath. Children, avert your gaze.
You think this is a game?
Despite the very strong miracle conditions in Marnie's and Legendary Selev's kits, a Flash of Steel just lets me completely bypass that and use the Desperation effect to just one-round them.
You must win!
Leave my sight!
Match number 9, and while this would have been my final match for this season, well, I actually do lose this one. My opponent plays really well here, and I also make some pretty bad mistakes in this match. And I hope to highlight those mistakes just so, well, not only myself, but you guys can also learn what not to do when piloting this kind of composition. Loki repositions Hinoka, and I use Robin's Ice to protect my units from their advance. To follow up on this, I decide to make an aggressive play, somewhat mirroring my third match this season, where I move Sedith up and set up Soaring Echo to warp Alir across the trees and take out Loki. However, something I did not account for was Duo Robin's ability to kill my Sedith. And here, I really wish I had Wyvern Rift instead of Near Trace on him, because I'm pretty sure he would have survived if that was the case. Another thing I didn't account for was Micaiah's attack res Crux skill, as I'm so used to Micaiah's just running Breath of Life on their C slot over Crux. And for this match, the guaranteed follow-up from Crux actually matters, as that's what allows Robin to double Seteth. Now, here is where I make the second mistake of the game. I get a little too trigger happy and have Alear revenge kill Robin, but without null follow-up and nearby allies to proc Emblem's Miracle, Alear is at the mercy of, once again, attack res Crux, allowing the enemy Micaiah to kill my Alear through a guaranteed follow-up attack. And since Seteth is gone, my remaining units are lacking a lot of bulk and mobility support. If I had just taken things a little bit more slowly and gradually approached my opponent with the ice terrain, I would have been in a much more comfortable position. But since it was the very last match I needed to win in order to get rank 1, I think I just wanted to get this match over with and win as quickly as possible, which ultimately cost me the match. If there was anything to take away from this loss, it's definitely to never rush just to get a battle over with. It's gonna lead to mistakes and misplays like the ones I had here. Also very important is to check for enemy skills. I definitely got spooked by not checking for attack res Crux on the enemy Micaiah. Definitely a fatal mistake.
Disperse.
Almost done.
Let's be quick.
Even though I have the point lead and better action economy with Mirabilis' dance, the enemy team does move second and has better range with the charge effect from Hinoka. Also, Nurgle and Mirabilis are just not going to be able to touch Winter Byleth without any support. So, the match is pretty much over.
Why must I lose?
Alright, final match for real this time. And what better way to end it off than with Timerra herself? To be honest, I probably should have just used the Timerra team that last match, because I'm fully confident I would have won had I used it. My previous opponent left the Timerra team open too, and the team they brought really had no way of breaking through Shield Fighter Myrrh and Selkering Timerra. But I was just so used to using the legendary Alear team, and it's a team that I'm really comfortable with, so I kind of just trust it more and gravitated towards it despite my Timerra team being stronger. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20, so of course, now I know that I would have won had I chosen Timerra over Alear. So, takeaway from this is, trust in Timerra. And just like that, another rank 1 SDS run. As you guys could probably tell, this video was meant to come out a long time ago, specifically 4 months ago when Timerra and Fogado first came out. But yeah, I just didn't have time to make this video, but I hope the wait was worth it, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So, stay tuned for more Summoner Duels content.